springtime on the north coast of Northern Ireland. When the sun is shining, there's nowhere more beautiful in the world. This week, the dramatic coastline provides a stunning backdrop to one of our biggest and fastest sporting events, the International Northwest 200. It's a unique motorcycle race with an international reputation. Close racing, high speeds of over 200 miles per hour.
There's no room for error at these speeds.
And a seaside festival atmosphere make this a truly special event. Welcome to our second highlights programme from this year's Fonacab International Northwest 200 in association with Nichols Oils. This year, the event is celebrating its 90th anniversary and has attracted pretty much all the top riders in the sport. It's the best entry of any road race in the world. So far, we've had two cracking races. Here's what's happened.
And they fire off.
Lee Johnson got away well, didn't he? Look at this, 150 miles an hour, and that's what the slipstream does for Lee Johnston and James Hillier.
Oh, tremendous stuff. He's going deep. Oh, he's got on the gravel now. So
no! First time on a super stock bike. What's he going to do at the start?
Number one, Glenn Irwin.
Here comes Hickman.
Oh, he's down.
Harrison does not fall off motorbike. There it is.
Oh,
Second time of asking.
So 2 races down with 2 different winners, and we have lots more to come over the next hour. We have 3 more races for you, a thrilling super sport battle, followed by the first superbike race. Now, the Northwest record holder is Alistair Seeley with 24 victories. He's the undisputed 2-wheel king around this circuit. But what's he like on 4 wheels? We sent him to visit one of Northern Ireland's best drivers, British touring car champion Colin Turkington. Alistair, first of all, how much are you looking forward to having a driving lesson from the British touring car champion today?
It's going to be exciting to get out. Obviously, he can drive a car amazingly, 3-time British champion, and it'll be an experience to get out and see what he can do and scare the pants out of him.
Big motorcycling heritage in your family as well, though, wasn't there?
Yeah, massive. You know, I was brought up around bikes and road racing. You know, before I started my own career, you know, my father was a long-time sponsor of Philip McCallan.
Are you worried about him driving your car?
Well, yeah, I got to get this car back to the UK in one piece. So yeah, well, I'll maybe not show him where top gear is.
We're back in one piece. Yeah, it was good fun. You know, Colin had the car sideways, lovely drifts. Mine just wasn't as nice as them, but a bit of tyre screech going on. I think I freaked them out into a couple of chicanes with late braking.
Colin, would he make a racing driver?
I'm a bit concerned of my rear tyres, you know, what sort of condition, and how I'm going to explain that one to BMW. But Alistair's background, obviously, he's got the speed, you know, straight away. You know, he can bring even this 3 Series BMW right to the limit straight away.
Be good fun when we can get the bike out and see, obviously, the differences there.
I got smoked in a straight line. The acceleration of the bike is incredible.
When you watch the motorcycle racers, does it ever make you want to give it a go?
Not at all. I think just the speeds that they go at, you know, over 200 miles an hour down towards university, 3 and 4 abreast, you know, it takes a special person, I think, to be able to throw his leg over a bike and commit to that.
He's 3-time British champion, so he can definitely steer a car, and you know, we're 2 times, so he hopefully can go for his 4th this year, and I'd like to get a hat-trick of British Championships. All good fun and exciting times, you know.
There was a good day out at the Bishop's Court Racing Circuit. Now, Alistair Seeley is in pole position for the next Super Sport race. Conditions have taken a turn for the worse. It's been raining very heavily, and this has been declared a wet race. I'm joined by 8 times Northwest 200 winner Steve Plater. Steve, much different conditions in the first Super Sport race. What kind of difficulties will that pose for the riders?
Very different, you know, first lap, there's going to be a lot of spray laid in the circuit. I've just had a word with Lee Johnson. He said it's a little bit kind of slippery down the coast road, a bit of lane water, but that will soon clear when you've got 60 bikes running down there. That will shed some water, it really will. The guys seem all quite confident, they're happy, it's the same kind of condition all the way around the track, so it's all to play for.
I can't see Alistair Seeley making the same mistake again, can you?
No, he's a wily little fox, he's good in these conditions, but in all fairness, there are so many good riders here that go very well in the wet.
This is going to be an interesting one. The conditions are about as tricky as I've ever seen them on the northwest coast. This grid, though, is packed with talent. Seeley, Johnson and Dean Harrison across the front row.
Yeah, they weren't expecting these conditions. James Hillier, Peter Hickman there, and Michael Dunlop. It's going to be very awkward out there.
Derek McGee, Paul Jordan, Davey Todd, any one of them could win.
Yeah, Hutchie, Cummins, Coward, yeah, absolutely. Wet tyres, of course, and so different to that first race on Thursday. It's all about getting off the line, getting the grip,
Isn't
and
it?
keeping out the spray. I think will be a lot of it.
Right, Seeley with his head down, getting away well. This is Alistair Seeley's chance to make up for what went wrong on Thursday night when he overdid it at the Juniper chicane, and he'll be wanting to get the break as early as possible if he can.
Yeah, the same bike, of course, that he won here with last year. He knows how that bike goes. It's the EHA Yamaha, and down he goes, plummeting down to that tight left-hander at your corner. Tyre temperatures will be dropping after the tyre warmers, I guess, in these conditions as they sneak their way through there. Derek McGee didn't get a brilliant start, but he'll be going reasonably well, I'm sure, in these conditions. The brave spectators out there.
Michael Dunlop, he's pulled it off so quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't go, it's not going well for this
It's
weekend.
a red flag as well.
Well, that's the riders being held down, that's at the Metropole,
yeah.
So there must be some incident on the coast road coming back to the finishing line. So another start we're about to have, and you can see 1 or 2 riders are not there, but Alistair Seeley, number 34, is still there. He was kind of at the front at that first start.
Davey Todd.
Yeah, number 74, Davey Todd on the inside.
So Seeley leads it again, that's what he wanted. He's got Derek behind him. Davey Todd got a really great start off the second attempt, and now he's dropped back to, he's in third, I beg your pardon. He was in third, always in third from the start of this race. It's Seeley, McGee and Davey Todd, and now it's Davey Todd on the inside. Didn't make it.
Quite do it. It is grim conditions out there, isn't it? And, hopefully it's going to improve as the day goes on. Paul Jordan at the back of that pack as they're coming down the braking zone, and that's a problem for Seeley. You can see smoke coming out of that bike. Oh, McGee nearly pushed him out wide. I don't think he was expecting Alistair Seeley to be slowing down that much, and he nearly, so another red flag. I guess there'll be oil down there, I'm thinking.
And that looks like the end of the day for Alistair Seeley.
Alistair, what happened?
The engine went bang, I think, in a big way. I knew something wasn't right. I just lost power and I was making a lot of noise, so I coasted into university, and to be honest, I was trying to scrub off speed, and I think it was Derek McGee came alongside me and tried to squeeze me. He must have thought I was still in racing mode, but just I could see whenever I stopped, a big plume of smoke came up around me, and I knew the motor had went.
But now we've got an empty front row and our third start of the day. Derek McGee on the right-hand side can see all the way down to the top of the hill. Davy Todd got a good start last time. Who's going to get the best one this time?
Oh, Davy Todd has a look at Cross. He does. He absolutely nails it off the line. Connor Cummins on the inside there, gets squeezed a little bit by Derek McGee. This is a full 6-lap race we've got going here. It's going to be a long day for these boys. Tricky conditions that will just keep improving. I guess lap times will scroll down a little bit lap by lap.
Full wets though, there's no question of tyre choice in this, is there?
No, none at all. Davy Todd on that Malenko Paget Honda. And you can see right behind him, number 86, Derek McGee, having a good run out there. He's on another Kawasaki out there at the moment. Let's have a look on the line with Paul Jordan. He didn't get a very good start in the first one, but this is a lot better. He's in fourth position. Fourth position. He did get past, not particularly good off the line, but you can just see how much spray is coming back. That's one of the problems, particularly on the faster parts of the course, is being able to see where you can go with all the water that's being dissipated by those full wet tyres.
Davy Todd dissipating a lot of water at 150, 60 miles an hour now. Station corner, flat.
Yeah, incredible, and they'll be pulling maximum speed, the same as in the drive, virtually down the straights. They've got this tailwind heading down towards Coleraine. You can see McGee on the side by side. It's like powerboat racing, isn't it? They're absolutely nailed down the straight here, watching those white lines, because that will make them slither and slide around a bit. We talk about the crown in the road that you've got on these roads, and it is important not to drop off. There's a lot of negative and adverse
see the paddles at the side there that you want to stay out of. The slipstream pulls you out towards the side of the track. You can find yourself powerboating, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could do. McGee on the inside, and easy, yeah, he snuck through there. So Derek McGee goes through to lead this race.
It's almost night down here at University, isn't it? It's still very gloomy, but the conditions are good enough for the helicopter to fly, so that's fine.
Yeah, thank you to those guys, because it's not particularly helicopter weather. It's not really motorcycle weather for that matter, but there you have it at the moment. That's where they are. The top three as they go through. We ride with Paul Jordan out of here. Listen to this.
Well, be nice for him to get a good result, wouldn't he? Had a bit of disappointment the other night, so nice to see Paul Jordan getting a good finish.
I think any one of these, it would be their first Northwest win. Anyone we're looking at, the top four, quite honestly. But it's Davy Todd is going down the inside, the youngster that's riding very well. He's just getting better and better. Clive Paget has clearly seen the talent in this young fella, and he's out there showing it all today.
And of course, Clive Paget builds high-speed motorcycles very well indeed. Had years of experience of this.
Okay, Slipstream City, all the way.
Coming out of the slipstream now. Is Connor going to make a move on the brakes? No.
Oh, but Connor's joined the party very much as they tiptoe their way into the Mathis chicane. Quite extraordinary how much grip they get from these wet tyres. We've got a bit of a tyre battle on. Davy Todd on the Dunlops, Derek McGee, Metzler, Connor Cummins on the Dunlops, and it's who can keep the tyres in the best conditions, really, because they do, even in wet weather, they go off. They start losing the sharp edge.
And who can keep their tyres at the best temperature as well. There's so much to think about, isn't there? And then you've got to have absolute confidence when you get somewhere like this and plant the front.
And McGee having a look. Is he on the inside? Not this time around. Davy Todd tips it in there again. And there's so many surface changes. You can see it's going over white lines, different surfaces. Now they're in the crown of the road. It really is skillful for these guys to keep these bikes upright.
And maximum stretch on the run down towards Metropole again. Not close enough at the front for any outbreaking competitions. But look what's happening at the back. Connor Cummins has just been duffed up.
Isn't he, by Paul Jordan? Same again, different surfaces all the time. Some of it's a kind of more aggressive type surface, and the guys have to just work it all out. We ride with Paul Jordan through there, and he's closing, and this is where he gets past Connor. Not only on the slipstream, he just got a better run out of that second, third gear corner coming out, or the exit second, grabbing third as they're running down the hill. Up over the top of Black Hill, and that's the slipperiest part of the track. The guys are all saying how difficult it is over the top there, and I think a lot of that could be the fact that it's a different surface, but also there's talk about the fact that the cold air coming off the sea onto that part of the course.
Nobody seems to know what it is, but there's something extra slippery there, and it's the last place you want extra slippery. But speaking of slippery, he's getting away. Is he? Davy Todd's just stretching this. He's got Connor Cummins in second after they go over the coast road there. Derek McGee down third, Paul Jordan behind him in fourth place. But is Davy Todd getting away from Connor Cummins?
Well, it's a Paget team, first and second at the moment. Clive will be biting his nails off, that is for sure. And there's a lap to go now, and then there we are, there's the last lap flag. Who is it going to be out of these three, or four for that matter, any one of them?
That's a big gap for 600 racing, isn't it? Davy Todd is just eking it out, but Conor Cummins is probably in more danger of falling into the clutches of Derek McGee than Davy Todd is of falling into Conor's clutches.
Quite possibly. Again, it comes back to the slipstreaming. We've got 3 areas, 4 areas for that matter, where there can be moves, and they're in the perfect position, every one of those, to get the slipstream off the one in front. So the one in danger is clearly going to be Davy Todd, because he wants to keep in front all the way around this last lap. We've got 9 miles, just under 9 miles to go.
Equally matched bikes, and he's the one who's making the hole in the air for everybody else. So it's arguably a little bit slower for him than it is for everybody else. Round the Mill Road roundabout, out towards Cremore and Station Corner. Paul Jordan, this would be so good if the slipstream towed him up into the podium, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be lovely for that. But you just hear those bikes screaming. They're up to about 16,000 RPM, 600 cc's, producing around about 135 brake horsepower. So Davy Todd's managed to get down to the university in front. Conor slips through.
So Derek McGee is the last man on a podium place, and number 16 there.
That's Michael Rees, yeah, the Welshman. He's hanging in there.
He's leading the second wave, which got away, is it 20 or 30 seconds after the first?
Wave gets away, yeah. So still Davy Todd, number 74. McGee's going past Conor Cummins.
Nicely done, that was. See, that's the... I couldn't do that in the dry, never mind the wet.
The way they've nearly got the knee on the floor in wet conditions, and not like a racetrack wet conditions. This is a road, and that's simply... There'll be traffic on here later on today. There was this morning. It is quite extraordinary. Riding Paul Jordan, he seems to have lost a bit of ground now.
Yes, he was close enough, we thought, coming out of Mill Road roundabout, but he definitely isn't down. It's all about the battle behind Davy Todd now, isn't it? Look at them, shoulder to shoulder. Derek McGee on the inside. Conor Cummins late on the brakes, but it's McGee.
Yeah, it is. Having the inside line counts for a great deal, because you can squeeze someone out. Davy Todd, he's got to get a really good run out of there, and he has. He's punched out Conor. You see the front wheel up in the air. The bike was wriggling around underneath him. Paul Jordan maybe just a little bit out of touch now. This will be Slipstream City. Conor Cummins on the left-hand side, the big 6'4" lad from Ramsey in the Isle of Man. He's doing everything he can. You can see he can't squeeze underneath that fairing enough, but McGee has the inside line. It's bouncing around everywhere. Is he going to get it stopped? Oh, that was close.
We hadn't mentioned Conor's height until this point. He's just done 6 laps of ferocious slipstreaming, and he's really not built for the job. It's like having a barn door on the front of a 600. And he's right up there, and he's just so competitive and aggressive on that bike at the moment. They've done 6 laps, they know where it's wet, they know where it's dry, they know where the grip is, so they'll be cautious here going over Black Hill, and Conor Cummins is having a go.
He is, he's looked to the inside, but it's going to be down to that Bet McLean chicane again, the Juniper. I think that's where it's going to happen, but I think Davy Todd has enough advantage not to get the slipstream, but Conor surely is going to get the toe off of McGee. He'll want to go to the inside if he's going to outbrake him.
It's not going to happen.
Oh, he's got the inside line. He's having a look, but McGee was really late on the brakes. Davy Todd now, don't go too fast through, touching any curbs, and he's got through there really neatly.
Conor Cummins can't help but wang a bit more than the smaller guys in front of him, can he? So Derek McGee, it could be a metre or so later on the brakes, but it makes no difference to Davy Todd, who is on his way to the finish line to take his first ever win at the Northwest 200. He is about to write his name on a page in history. Davy Todd.
He did it on the white line on that last corner. Brilliant for the young fella. I'm really pleased for him. He is a star of the future.
Derek McGee, also one of our very much up-and-coming riders. Conor Cummins, he's the old guard now, isn't he? You've got to say that he is the old guard.
Yeah, 31. I'm afraid you're an old guard at that point, but pleased for Conor as well. Pleased for Clive Paget and the team. They put so much effort into this, and the Dunlop boys will be happy as well.
Everybody's going to be happy with that one, aren't they? Todd McGee Cummins, as we saw. Paul Jordan did get 4th. Christian Elkin and Joe Laughlin 5th and 6th.
Davy, congratulations. Your first international win. How does that feel?
I knew we would be strong in the wet conditions, but these guys really pushed me right to the end, and I really enjoyed every second of that, going back and forward with Derek and Conor there.
And a kiss from the team boss, Clive Paget.
Massive thanks to the team. They provide an unbelievable bike for me, and you know, it's been a pleasure to ride it.
Yeah, it was so crack out there. slipstreaming. She didn't know where you were going to end up going into university, but no, enjoyed that race and fair play to Davey. Rode a great race.
Treacherous conditions, but yeah, the bike was perfect. It was a good little battle with these guys, so just staying safe and using the load, but had a good ride. It was good.
They always say that, don't they? Staying safe, and we were looking at it and thinking, "Ooh, shut your eyes." Yeah. But that's their interpretation of staying safe. I don't think Clive Paget's kissed another bloke this weekend so far, so it's another first for Davey Todd.
So Davey Todd stands on the top step of an international podium for the first time ever. Next up, it's the big bikes. Glenn Irwin has won the last 3 Superbike races here in a row. And despite a change of team and machine this season, he's still a red-hot favourite after going under the existing lap record in practice.
Northwest is a funny one because for the months building up to it, I think, why did I do it? And it gets worse. I don't know if it's like anxiety or whatever it is, but I always went there as a kid. And that's my kind of racing memories, watching all the greats, you know, from the 125, 250 riders right up to the big bike races, you know, in the V&M days. And I ride for Jack Valentine, obviously, from that, so that's pretty cool. But it just means so much, like, being the person that kind of maybe I used to watch. It's been a difficult start, to be truthfully honest. Unfortunately, I didn't click with my crew chief, you know, and that's been quite well documented. But you know, the changes have been made, and I'm beginning to see you know, a clear picture going forward. And now I'm excited for kind of starting my season at the Northwest 200 of all places. I really enjoy riding the Superstock 1000, which went really well in testing again, so I'm quite confident for that class. And in the Superbike, you never know around there, you know, you're doing 200 mile an hour, so the attitude is go out and practice, remind yourself it's a road race, and if the bike feels right, then we have a go, and I'd like to win that big one again.
He looks one happy boy, doesn't he? There's going to be a party tonight.
There is. Good day at the office for young Glenn Irwin.
Seeing your brother riding road races, it's something that I think obviously as it's dangerous, but I trust Glenn and what he's doing, and I don't think he goes over the limit when he is riding road races. You know, I think he showed that in the Ducati, that he can do that good first lap and then maintain it.
To ride a motorbike, I think you got to be as strong as you can be for being as light as you can be, and by just being very fit. And you know, if you're at the end of a race and you're putting pressure on somebody or they're putting pressure on you, I think the fitter you are, the kind of lower the heart rate is, less chance of a mistake is kind of the science behind it.
If I'm training with Glenn, you're pushing and he's pushing more as well. It's the same in the bicycle. You know, we do like 1 mile at a time and as the lead rider, and as soon as he goes that 1 mile, you know that he's riding at the maximum, and as soon as I get there, my heart rate's through the roof as well. So you know, it pushes us both on.
Yeah, he should be unbeatable, and you know, I probably think it's mind games, but will be tough. There's more than Alistair there as well. Dean's going to be strong. He rides the roads very hard. You know, I think he's 100% on wherever he goes. Peter Hickman's going to do a great job and probably wants to win at the Northwest. He hasn't had a lot of success there in the superbikes. Michael obviously has his own personal reasons to win. I think he just wants to beat me or Seeley. And you know, Alistair really wants the big win, but they got to remember he's won the last 3 superbike races, and you're talking to him right now.
And Glenn Irwin is in pole position. Philip, how do you see this race panning out?
This is going to be a very interesting race because Glenn on Thursday night smashed the course record, but Seeley is riding basically with his last year's team on the new model bike, so it's going to be very, very interesting.
Michael Dunlop riding for the Tyco Taz team. These conditions, which are improving, may suit him.
Yeah, well, don't forget that's Seeley's last year's bike. So this is a real mixture and a mixture of teams in the front line. But you know what? Michael is getting better every time out. He's confident in conditions like this. So what? He might be there to pick up the pieces.
Michael Dunlop's first race since the Isle of Man TT. Will he be a bit ring rusty, do you think? Could that hinder him?
I think he's had a pretty good practice so far. He's quite a few laps. The other boys have had more laps than him really throughout the year, so they should be that little bit better. But we know Michael's got a lot of determination, a lot of willpower. It's the Northwest 200, it's a Dunlop name, so I don't think we could rule him out.
No Hickman, no Harrison, and no Lee Johnson. Still, this should be a cracker.
Well, we do like a cracker, and we have a reasonably full grid as well, as you can see. Minus those two, we've still got Glenn Irwin and Alistair Seeley on the front row.
Yeah, and second row, we've got Michael Dunlop, Connor Cummins, and, well, Lee Johnson's not joining us for this one, but Michael Rutter will be, Richard Cooper and Ian Hutchinson.
Nice to see Hutchie back out and racing. James Hillier, Peter Hickman and Derek Shields. Who is going to win the first Superbike race of the week at the Northwest 200? Who gets away first?
Ooh.
Is it Irwin? Yes, it is.
Connor Cummins got sideways, got it spinning up, but it is Glenn Irwin that's got away there nicely. Now, conditions are improving. You can see the track is a bit dry, but still very, very wet out there. But Seeley's just charged through there at Millbank into Primrose Corner, and it's still very, very damp out there. But Alistair Seeley was confident on that Paul Bird big V4 Panigale Ducati.
He's had a couple of laps. Everyone's had a couple of laps in the wet to see how
Derek
it worked
Shields.
out. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, Derek Shields down the inside.
Did he make
there.
that
was
mistake?
nice.
He did, didn't he?
So the build-up really throughout the whole period coming up to the Northwest 200 has been about these two. Alistair Seeley looking for his 25th win. Glenn Irwin looking for his 4th. There's John McGuinness on the Norton.
Well, he's not had a really good practice there. Working on that bike, it's getting better, but it's not right up to pace as we look back at Michael Dunlop disappearing as James Hillier piles on the power in his super stock bike.
Yeah, James Hillier has opted to run the super stock bike, a little less power, maybe the suspension might be a bit softer. Oh, and there we go, Glenn Irwin, that's brave going down in the station corner. They've got to tip it in here for the first time. They're not really going to be too sure how much grip there is there on these monstrously powerful motorcycles. So let's have a look at this, and off the line is Connor Cummins and Michael Dunlop looking back from Glenn Irwin, and Glenn Irwin just blasted it.
Yes, but he didn't get to the to York Corner first. He's out in front now, and Alistair Seeley's in his slipstream and coming to get him. Here comes Seeley, tucked down behind the bubble of that thing, but it's a bit of a handful, isn't it?
Yeah, that was 197 miles an hour when they were looking back at each other there. It's madness. But anyway, we love it. We really admire what these guys do. There's huge amounts of talent in there. Someone's gone wide. Glenn Irwin's gone a bit wide, so he will have got repassed for sure. Yep. There he is running wide. Couldn't get the power down because he got the bike lent over, but for sure Alistair Seeley.
Oh, hand up.
Yeah, McGuinness is out.
Yeah, that's a shame. So early as well, but John McGuinness pulling the Norton in. We said they're having problems. It's a new bike, and it's obviously not working as well as it could do. Glenn Irwin and Alistair Seeley renew their rivalry. They've gone head-to-head on the Northwest Coast year after year.
And Hillier's come up through there actually quite well. He didn't get away that good, but James Hillier wants to join this party, I think. He's gone extremely well all throughout the weekend. Still never had a win around here, James Hillier. There we go, passed again. Glenn Irwin on that Quattro Plant Kawasaki. There's not much in the power of these. I was expecting the Ducati to be faster, but if you've got power, you can't always put it down. It's grip you need.
Yes, you need the drive out of the corners. The track is in good condition. On these wet tyres, they're getting good grip all around the circuit, but still at 195 miles an hour, it's a little bit wobbly, isn't it?
Yeah. Derek Shields hanging in there on the Barrows Suzuki, but anyway, back with James Hillier, looking back at the wee wizard from Carrickfergus. What can he do? He's never not had a win here.
Just saw in that shot the way they were outrunning the helicopter, just scooting away from it on the run from Mathers Cross to Macraboy, leaving the helicopter behind. It just can't keep up.
No, and they're doing well to fly it in these conditions. It is very dreary up there. There's a fairly low cloud base, but they're not too high, as you can see from those wonderful pictures they're giving us the whole time. And this is, yeah, it is. It's James Hillier passing his teammate Glenn Irwin, or is he? He's going down the outside.
He's done it.
He has. He's going to slay it across there.
Yes.
Right, nicely done. As I said, James Hillier on that bike, the bike we ride with now, is the more production-based bike. It won't have quite the same horsepower, but it's got plenty. It's got over 200 horsepower. But as I say, Glenn Irwin, for sure, if it was drier, would be able to drive past him. But putting the grip down or getting the traction is the difficult part. Underneath the railway crossing there, up we come here. It looks like they're dropping Alistair Seeley off a little bit now.
There's a little tiny gap behind this man, and it's getting a little bit bigger. You'll probably see it better from up here in the helicopter. James Hillier and his teammate Glenn Irwin behind. And it's Derek Shields is going to have Alistair Seeley any moment now, isn't he?
Does look that way, doesn't it? The lovely Burrows Suzuki machine. So James Hillier, 34-year-old from Ringwood, down near Bournemouth, is having a ride of his life at the moment, but he's going to have to try and fend off his, what you would call a more experienced. He's not been here many years. James Hillier's been here 11 years, and I think Glenn Irwin, this is his 3rd or 4th year.
They're good mates though, and they've shared tyres and things over the course of the week, shared information, followed each other around, and perhaps Glenn Irwin's rather wishing he hadn't been towing James Hillier around earlier in the week, and vice versa, because Irwin came here with a really confidence flat on the floor, didn't he? And that Super Twin qualifying session really lifted it for him.
Richard Cooper there, Richard Cooper on the Suzuki, Bill Bay Suzuki. He's a newcomer this year, really getting to grips with the circuit very, very quickly. Leads.
Drying out a bit here, Steve. Is that going to be all right for the tyres? We've got to shorten the race distance. Will they make the 4 laps if this dries out?
Yeah, I think they will, because it is only 4 laps, and there's still spots in the air. There isn't even on the dry parts. There's still an element of dampness around. I don't think that would be a real problem for them, and the good news is that they're still going through wet patches, which will keep the tyre temper down. One of the problems with these heavily treaded tyres that they're running on, and a mixture of Dunlops and Mexlers out there. Let's have a listen to this. It went off, but I was just listening to the rasp.
I'll tell you what that is. It's Fantastico.
Yes, certainly. Well, it is on a Ducatio. Anyway, Richard Cooper, how about that? The newcomer here, charged through there. So Richard Cooper very much in the hunt from this. We ride with Connor Cummins, doing his very best, and he's also past Seeley now.
So, Michael Dunlop pulls it off again. He's just not having a good week at the Northwest 200,
not good for the Tyco team at the moment. Connor Cummins gets back past and charges through on Richard Cooper. So there is your top 3 at the moment: Hillier, Glenn Irwin, Connor Cummins.
Is Irwin just following James Hillier around, waiting to see what he's got, letting him explore the track and find all the damp parts, make all the mistakes, and then on the halfway round lap 4 he's just going to pop out the slipstream? And
yeah, I think there's an element of that, and I think he's just waiting if the track dries out a little bit. For sure, if he can get the power down, he should have more grip, and he should be slightly better on the brakes, mainly because it's a lighter bike. The super bike will be something like 20 kilos lighter, I would have said, than the super stock machine for a start.
He's also got Connor Cummins coming to get him, and if Connor is quick on his super bike, on his Paget bike, then he's going to have to get a bit of a skate on as well. He might not be able to wait that long. He might have to get out of the way, because here comes Connor. I think he's closing.
I think you're absolutely right on the Malenko Paget bike. Connor Cummins, a real TT expert, and again, not had a win here at the Northwest. There's a number of people like Dean Harrison, Connor, and James Hillier for that matter, that you would have thought over the years would have bagged a win, but it's yet to come to them.
Well, Connor Cummins, I think, might have been finding that Seeley was struggling with the Ducati. He's struggling with that a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but if Seeley was having issues with that Ducati handling, and he might have held Connor up a bit, now he's through, he might close these 2 down if they're going at super stock pace, as James Hillier can only do.
James seems to have a little bit of an advantage on this coast road section, or it did look like he did have a little bit more, but really Glenn Irwin is just looking for the dry bits where he can get the power, and you see them all wriggling as they come out of there, coming out of there in 2nd gear, and they're just trying to tap the power on, and the wheels are starting to spin up and doing everything they can. Last thing you want to do is really get it sideways and frighten the life out of yourself and lose a load of ground.
Connor Cummins is so aggressive at the moment, isn't he? He's right back at the top of his form, and now he's on a bike that is the right size for him. He's really giving it beans, and Shields has got past Seeley, so Alistair Seeley's fading in this race.
I think he's struggling to use the power that it's got. He's a little fella, of course, Alistair Seeley, and just trying to get the power down on the track. It looks a bit of a handful out there. There you go, James Hillier again powering off of that Mill Road roundabout. Seems to get out there very, very well.
Nice and tidy. James Hillier on that bike, all tucked in. And there's a dry line down the middle of the road there.
Then it goes wet just as you tip it in. It's
Just
horrible.
what you want, isn't it?
It really is not pleasant because, as I say, you run a little bit off that dry line, you're on a damp part of the track. It's the focus and concentration that they're going through for this. It's only 4 laps, but 4 laps around here trying to stand. And look at this. That is Connor Cummins has got through. He's got past Glenn.
Glenn Owen in the slipstream of Connor Cummins, tucked in. Connor making the hole in the air for Glenn Owen to follow him now, so he's going to repay the favour any minute now.
Very good on the brakes, really good. Oh, he didn't leave him a lot of room there. Nearly took the hand of Connor Cummins off the handlebar there. I think Connor Cummins is slightly under geared. I thought I just heard it touch the rev limiter in top gear using that slipstream.
Meanwhile, James Hillier's got a little bit of a lead working for him, but his teammates back in the hunt and back where he wants to be. Connor Cummins still there in 3rd place, but they are pulling away. This trio are pulling away from the rest of the field. Connor Cummins is pulling away from Glenn Owen again.
Is this allowing James Hillier to escape? Quite possibly. These two tripping over one another. They can't get too... Oh, I'm going to say they can't get too through the chicane, and they haven't, because now Glenn Owen has managed to get through. He's got to get it stopped, so still...
Yeah, he doesn't want Hillier to get away, does he?
No, James Hillier hasn't been able to escape with these two tripping over one another. You can see... There they go, and they're in a perfect position for slipstream. The bikes actually look like they've been motocrossing. I've never seen superbikes looking so dirty in my life. There it is.
Running back towards the Metropole into the McEvoy chicane with Hillier, Irwin and Cummins, and then look at the gap behind. There was Derek Shields and Alistair Seeley. But I'm not sure that was Derek Shields in the background. I'm not even sure that Derek's there anymore. So this is a big break for these guys.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can see how different lines are... Oh, and he guessed there. Glenn Owen goes a little bit wide there. Lost a touch of...
nervy moment for him, because he's very cautious about these conditions, isn't he, Glenn Owen? He doesn't like these conditions in a road race, and he's a bit nervy about the whole thing, understandably so.
Having said that, he just went through Church Court with his knee on the ground virtually, slammed it in there. I mean, that's not that nervy, is it? But the corner,
safe, isn't it?
Yeah, the corner they do worry about. We just gone past, so we're back down to the Beck McLean chicane, and that's generally where it happens. We've seen so many times this last chicane into there, and it's all about braking and who has got the confidence to leave their braking a little later. But we saw what Alistair Seeley did on Thursday when he left it too late. He didn't make the corner.
So tyres aren't going to be an issue, we don't think, among these three. They're just going to keep on until they get to the checkered flag. And as they go over the line there, they get the cross flag that tells you this is the last lap of those 4.
Well, and we are on board with Derek Shields.
Yeah, he wasn't there, was he? He's dropping back, Derek Shields.
There he is. He's still in there in 4th. He's sort of hanging in there, but there's a hot pace at the front. There is Alistair Seeley. It's not the Alistair Seeley we know. He's not gelled completely in these conditions with that bike. I feel sorry for him. He's been coming here for so long, 2008, and had a win every single year. No idea who's going to win this one, but it's going to be, in my opinion, down to that chicane again. A few spots on the camera still.
That's just perhaps spat up off the ground. I don't think it's raining again. But with full wet on, James Hillier almost standing that on its nose there in full confidence. Now they've been round and they're on their 4th lap. They know the grip conditions all around the circuit. James Hillier is going to have to ride out of his skin to stay in front of Glenn Owen on the superbike, who we think has probably got something left in his locker for the final lap, and this is the final lap.
And the speed trap times, we've had a lap down the bottom there before they get to that University corner of 198.6 miles an hour.
Not hanging about, are they?
Oh, absolutely not, it isn't. And the bike's on wet tyres as well. That's the other thing, a damp track, wet tyres. Just gives credit to the tyre manufacturers that they can push a bike through the air with those heavily trenched tyres. Connor Cummins closing on Glenn.
We've seen a little bit of slipstream action between these two a lap or so ago.
Side by side they are at the moment. One's on the dry, one's on the wet.
No.
Oh dear.
It is still the same order. Hillier under brakes at University. Connor Cummins couldn't quite get the toe he needed to get past. He's got 2 more chances though.
As up to half a lap, virtually about half a lap remaining of this, as number 37, James Hillier, just in front of his teammate.
Yeah, this is the triangle circuit, and we're coming on the return leg of the triangle. So half a lap is roughly on the roundabout there that they've gone through. And that's just beginning to move about a bit, isn't it?
Well, the tyres will be really hot now, especially on this part where you can see quite a dry line, trying to put that 200 plus horsepower down, and on the crown of the road there, that's where it's the driest, of course. And again, I think Glenn Irwin has a little bit in the braking zone. That's where I think he's able to just close that gap down. As I said before, bike is a little bit lighter. It'll have more expensive suspension on it, better brakes on it, all the things that you said. And it's about 50,000 quid more than the bike in front. That's the difference.
Well, let's see what £50,000 can do for you on the run over the coast road, because this looks pretty static, doesn't it, as they head down towards the chicane. It doesn't look to be... Oh, I don't know, they're both coming. They're both coming.
Oh, flames out the exhaust pipe of Glenn Irwin's bike as he slams it down through the gearbox. That's unburnt fuel just throwing out the back, and he gets the run out of there. Is this his time to make the break? It would be the perfect time to do it. James Hillier, look, there's nothing in the speed because they just can't get the grip down. But Connor Cummins come out beside James Hillier as we look back. Three abreast, one in the dry, one in the wet. Oh, he's going Hillier round the outside. James Hillier.
Naughty.
You can't do that. Round the outside on the damp part of the course, he's done it. You can see the bike trying to get out from underneath him. Through Church Corner, back to where I said it's going to be that McLean Juniper chicane, I think.
James Hillier is using the controllability of that production bike at the moment to get past his teammate on the superbike. Can he do that again in that chicane? He's just got a little bit more confidence in that, hasn't
he is so good there. We've seen it happen so many times down there. Getting the run out of here, that was over the top of Black Hill, trying to get the power down there. He's gaining. He's in the slipstream. He'd want to go to the inside if I was you. He's gone on the outside. Is he going to get past enough to switch it over? Now he's diving to the inside, and he's going. Look at his feet going through the gearbox. He's got it down there. Is he going to get it stopped though? He's got to get it turned in, and he has. Yes, superb move.
Don't run out too close to the white. Yes, that was. He's been thinking about that for the last 4 laps, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely inch perfect in his timing. And Killian, no, please, not on that final corner. It looks like he's done it, his 4th Northwest win on the superbike.
There it is. He's going to be so pleased about that. It's touch and go whether he actually came to the grid. He didn't like the conditions earlier on, but they've improved no end, and they brought him out to race, and he's going to be very pleased about that. Connor Cummins, another podium at the Northwest.
Yeah, and Derek Shields, good 4th position, but I'm sure Alistair Seeley would have wanted to be better than 5th.
Yeah, I forgot about the 3 in a row previous. James was riding phenomenal. Best thing that happened to me was him going past. It probably pulled us away from everyone. The first is class, but the most important thing's the 1-2. This team have had such a difficult start to the year, and yeah, they deserve so much more than what I've given them. And I've worked awesome with James all year as a teammate. I've really looked forward to coming road racing with him. And this is just the beginning, and he's going to go on and win a TT this year. I'm telling you, awesome.
Nearly won, but still amazing for the team, and you know, I'm pleased for Glenn because he's been struggling a little bit, but he's clicked now, and he's probably the best person I could have beat me today.
I made it bloody hard work for myself, got spun up off the line, and I was last in the wave, I think, and had to come from dead last in the group, and I caught onto the leading riders, and but yeah, it was a lot of fun actually. It's a lot of fun.
That's one way of putting it. At 195 miles an hour.
Yeah. And that's interesting that Glenn Irwin says James is going to go and win a TT this year. Well, we hope he does do another one.
But this is very nice for the fans and for the team. Everybody pleased to see Glenn on the top step.
So Glenn Irwin with a superb superbike victory. And Philip, some great racing again.
It's been great racing, Stephen. We've had 5 races, 5 different winners and 2 first-timers. Stefano Bonetti, the first Italian ever to win a Northwest 200. Davy Todd rode the race of his life for his first win in the Super Sport class. And Glenn Irwin, what have we got to say? His 4th superbike win. He does want to be king of the Northwest.
So that's it for now from the Northwest 200. From everyone here, it's bye-bye.